referendums are being held in areas that make up 15% of Ukrainian territory, but they're also taking place in the middle of a war zone. A strike outside one polling station in Russian-occupied Donetsk overnight left 6 people dead. Pro-Kremlin separatists blamed Ukrainian forces. Well, the voting is expected to last several days and result in the region's annexation by Moscow. Ukraine and Western governments say they won't recognize the outcome.
Pro-Russian residents of Donetsk celebrate in mid-February after Russia recognized the Ukrainian region as an independent state. Days before Russia began its war, people here thought the declaration would bring peace.
It's very important for all of us that peace will finally come to our republic and to Luhansk. We just want peace and calm.
But conflict escalated after Russian President Vladimir Putin signed up to support the separatists and used their claims of oppression as grounds for an invasion. Now Moscow-backed officials in 4 regions are seeking not just recognition, but annexation. Votes on whether to join Russia will take place in occupied Kherson, Zaporizhia, Luhansk and Donetsk, parts of which have been held by separatists since 2014, when Crimea was seized by Russia following a so-called referendum. Kremlin-installed leaders in the regions raced to announce their ballots days after Ukrainian troops recaptured swathes of eastern territory. They've been preparing for months, signing up residents as Russian citizens. In Luhansk, some see the vote as a way out of war and deprivation.
I think the referendum will be for the best. Yes, that there will be water and electricity, and people will feel like they are on their native land.
But for those who fled to Ukrainian-held parts of Zaporizhia, the votes are a sham.
It's a violation of international law. It's a fake task to show that occupied territories want to join the Russian Federation, which is a total lie.
The outcome will entrench the conflict.
All right, let's bring in our DW Russia analyst, Roman Goncharenko, who joins us from our studio in Bonn. Roman, good to see you. So what is Russia actually aiming to achieve with these so-called referendums?
Well, there is one big aim of Russia's President Vladimir Putin, which is to destroy and disintegrate Ukraine, and the so-called referenda there are just a tool, an instrument for that. Annexation was planned from the very beginning of this military campaign, I think, and Russia was trying and planning it in autumn right now, maybe to a different time, but Russia had to act swiftly because Ukraine could do a very successful counter offensive in the Kharkiv region in the north of Ukraine, and this is where there will be no polling, no so-called referenda, no annexation. This is a territory Russia lost. So it is in a hurry right now, but it's very important for Russia to make those so-called referendum not look like an occupation. That is why it is also important to stage all this, to show like it's not Russia occupying Ukraine, it's people who live there, they want to join Russia. This is the narrative. And of course, last but not least, I think it is also some kind of a birthday present for Russia's President Vladimir Putin, who will turn 70 on October the 7th. And this is something that many experts in the West and in Russia itself has been saying from the very beginning. Ukraine should be kind of a birthday cake for Vladimir Putin. But this cake has gotten smaller in the past few weeks, and that's why Russia is in a hurry.
Roman, let's talk a little bit about the legitimacy of these so-called referendums. Is Russia actually doing anything to make them even appear legitimate?
Well, of course, from the very beginning, let's remember how it was in Crimea in 2014. Russia occupied that territory didn't say that those were Russian soldiers, but the people who decided, people who voted for joining Russia were Ukrainians living there, Ukrainian politicians, pro-Russian politicians. The same here. We have figures who are Ukrainians, have Ukrainian passports, and who have been installed by Russia in the occupied regions in the south of Ukraine, in the Kherson region or in the Zaporizhia region. In the east of Ukraine, in the region of Donetsk and Lohansk, there are also Ukrainians who were installed there earlier by Russia in the years before. So Russia is trying to do this. It is also trying to set a stage like it were a normal voting, I would say. There are polling stations. You can see videos of people waving Russian flags, saying how happy they are to vote for joining Russia. So the media are also playing a very important role. And of course, Russia will be trying to say that there are international observers who can confirm that everything was according to law, or local law, I would say. Of course, it is not according to Ukrainian law. It is not allowed in Ukraine to conduct such referenda. But we do not know any names of any foreigners who are there at the moment. But we can be sure that there are some.
Thank you, Roman. DW Russia analyst Roman Goncharenko. Well, DW correspondent Nick Connolly is in the eastern Ukrainian city of Kharkiv, and earlier he told us how people on the Ukrainian side viewed the votes being staged in